Well, among the Americans watching the address tonight were iReporters Egberto, Willies, and Garrett Sandine. They've been debating healthcare issues on iReport for some time now, and they both join us live via Skype to talk about the president's remarks. Garrett, let's start with you. What did you think about the president's speech? Can you hear me?
I can.
Go ahead.
It's good to be with you.
It's good to have you with us, and I know that you have been quite passionate about this as a 21-year-old who just graduated from college. You're now off your parents' plan, and you're worried about your own health care. So what were you expecting to hear from the president, and did he say that?
I heard some things I liked, and I heard some things I didn't. No, I'm a small government conservative, so pretty much anything that has to do with expanding the I'm pretty much against. So it's easy for me to pick out what I liked and what I didn't like.
Okay, so 6 in 10 younger Americans actually support the plan. It's reversed for senior citizens who oppose it, as you know, Garrett. I want to bring in Egberto right now, who comes from a different perspective here. I know your wife dealing with lupus. Your guys' bill is so high right now. Did you hear what you wanted to hear from the president? I know you support the public option. Egberto, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you doing?
We just want to get your reaction now to the president's speech. Did you hear what you wanted to hear? What did you really
Okay, I can't hear the question, but I think if I'm reading your lips right, you're asking what I thought about the speech?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, it is what took so long. He addressed all the issues with respect to the lies that we're seeing out there, something that we needed to see desperately. One of the problems we have is that we allow one side of the arguments to go on and make claims, and on the side supporting the reform, we tend to be somewhat lackadaisical in the response. So for once, it felt that he did the right thing as far as going out there, correcting the record, and actually being very specific in what needs to be done. For those of us who've been following this for quite a while, there was not much that was new, but as far as most of the people watching it every so often and not continuously, there was a lot new and a lot put together.
Okay, so one of those new things that we heard, Egberto, I want to throw it back to Garrett, was just how much this is going to cost. And the president said $900 billion over the next 10 years. That's something that your generation, Garrett, is going to have to pay for. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's if you believe it's going to be $900 billion. I mean, it wasn't all too long ago that they thought cash for clunkers was going to be just $1 billion, and they ended up doing that. It's safe to assume they're lowballing those numbers. You know, we have Medicare's unfunded liabilities are massive, and I think it's the Medicare Board of Trustees already said that it's going to be bankrupt by the year 2017. So they're trying to insure 30 million more people in this country, arguably more if you consider illegal aliens. How can you afford this? We can't pay for this. My generation can't pay for this. We're going to go bankrupt. And it's unfortunate that, you know, while Obama talks about the economics of this debate, you know, I really wish he wouldn't approve a plan that doesn't, you know, that doesn't add to the deficit. I just don't see it happening, though.
When you mentioned illegal immigrants, I thought of the time in the speech that we had an interruption from somebody who said, "You lie, you lie." Listen, both of you guys have been debating for some time now. Egberto, you go back and forth with Garrett on iReport.com, and I got to tell you, you guys have some really interesting debates, but it never gets ugly. What did you think about the ugliness that we saw from the GOP this evening? Egberto, would you ever call Garrett a liar in your debating?
No, not at all. In fact, I have a daughter that's 18 years old, and watching him, it's refreshing because the youth need to participate in these debates. I don't think he has all the facts right, but it is important that he engages. I mean, the bill that he speaks about, that I just heard him mention with respect to the billions that it's going to cost. The most important thing to realize is that is a cost that's going to be there whether there's reform or not. The option is who will benefit from all these payments that go into the system.
And that's a big question, Garrett. I know that's a concern of yours. I know that's a concern of the younger generation. So as Egberto said, he respects you. He respects your right to debate. Is there any common ground that you find with him? Can we kumbaya for a second here? Is there any place where you both agree?
Yes.
Where? Garrett,
absolutely.
I know you're laughing.
I think we agree in mostly everything except the role of government. Is that right, my friend?
It is. It is. This comes down to a debate on what we believe the role of government ought to be.
Exactly.
And we both agree there needs to be reform, and we both agree of what the problem is. We both know that insurance companies and their lobbyists have come in and taken over healthcare costs. We both recognize that that is a huge problem, and that is the main problem. We just have different medication, if you would, to be so cutesy with it.
You don't really have to get the way these guys get all heated about it, and you don't really need to lie about it. I think having a healthy debate would work, and they could actually reach common ground if they really wanted to get there. But one quick point, and that is, I think that the whole issue here, not what Mr. Sandin is talking about. The big issue is that Republicans don't want Democrats to succeed. It has nothing to do about health care for all.
I would disagree with that as someone who, I'm a registered Republican, but I didn't vote Republican in the general election. I voted third party. I actually believe that there are some Republicans out there, and by some, I hope most of them, who actually care about what happens more so than political careers. I would assume the same thing for Democrats as well. So I don't believe the cynicism that's directed toward politicians is always justified. It's just that because of what Obama talked about, there is skepticism about whenever government decides to add more. And I think that's healthy.
Okay, I'm going to have to jump in there, Garrett, and give you the last word because you were responding to Egberto. Hey, listen, guys, I'm trying to be fair here. You both have a healthy outlook about you. You both are doing some really interesting things on iReport.com. I'm glad you found some common ground. Glad you could be with us after this debate. Garrett Sandin from Southern California, Egberto Willies from Kingwood, Texas. Both of you, thank you.
Thank you very much.